The state that transcends speech and thought is silence. It is meditation without mental activity. Subjugation of the mind is meditation. Deep meditation is eternal speech. Silence is uninterrupted speech, the perennial flow of language. It is interrupted by speaking, for words obstruct this mute language. Lectures may entertain people for hours without making them any the better. Silence, on the other hand, is permanent and benefits all mankind. By silence, eloquence is meant. Speech is less eloquent than silence. Silence is unceasing eloquence. It is the best language. There is a state beyond words and silence where words cease and silence prevails. Question: is the state of being quiet a state that involves effort, or is it effortless? Ramana: is it not a state of effortless indolence? All worldly activities, commonly called effort, are performed with the help of a part of the mind and with frequent pauses. But the act of communion with the self, Atma Vyavahara, or remaining inwardly quiet, is an intense activity that is performed with the whole mind and without interruption. Maya, illusion or ignorance, which cannot be destroyed by any other act, is completely destroyed by this intense activity called silence, Mona. Question: how can one tell if he is experiencing that sleepy silence instead of the true silence? Annamalai Swami: if after coming out of silence one immediately takes the body as the self, the true silence has not been experienced. In the pursuit of inner silence, one should not enter laya, temporary suspension of all mental faculties. For instance, a man does some work, then he feels tired and rests for a while. Then he begins the work again. Silence should not be of this kind. That is, if the mind is only temporarily resting for a while, you will not experience true silence. A complete absence of thoughts does not necessarily mean that one is experiencing the silence of the self. If there is a feeling of freshness and clarity in the silence, if consciousness shines forth in such a way that one feels happy and wholly peaceful, it is more likely to be the true silence. If this consciousness, this wakefulness is not there, it is better to continue with japa and dhyana. Let me give another example. A man meditates in Bhagavan's old hall. He sits there for an hour. Then he thinks to himself, I sat and meditated for an hour. That is not nishtha, being established in the self, because the ego was there thinking, I'm sitting, I'm meditating. If you have any awareness that you are sitting or meditating, you are not experiencing the self, you are experiencing the ego. Silence is the most powerful form of teaching transmitted from master to disciple. The voiceless voice is pure intuition. It is the voice of the spiritual heart that speaks in the innermost of our being and reveals to us the original nature of the Creator of the cosmos. We feel happy when we succeed. We lament when we fail. Let us understand that whatever happens or does not happen is according to the will of the Almighty. We must remain in silence in both cases. This is the true silence. To be in a stable state, undisturbed by dualities like success and failure, happiness and sadness, is silence. This is the greatest penance. Silence is the path to the soul. The soul shines through silence. Language is only a means to communicate thoughts from one to another. It is set in motion only after thoughts arise. Other thoughts arise after the I thought arises. The I thought is the root of all conversation. When one remains without thinking, one understands another through the universal language of silence. Silence is ever speaking. It is the perennial flow of language. It is interrupted by speaking. These words obstruct that mute language. There is electricity flowing in a wire. With resistance to its passage, it glows as a lamp or revolves as a fan. In the wire, it remains as electric energy. Similarly, silence is the eternal flow of language, obstructed by words. What one fails to know through a conversation extending to several years can be known in a trice in silence, or in front of silence, e.g. Dakshinamurti and his 4 disciples. That is the highest and most effective language. The pure state of being attached to grace, the self, which is devoid of any attachment, alone is the state of silence, which is devoid of anything else. Know that one who always abides as that silence, having experienced it as it is, alone is the true mental worship, Manasika Puja. Know that the performance of continuous, true, natural worship, in which the mind is submissively established as the One Self, having installed the Lord on the throne of the heart, is silence, the best of all forms of worship. Silence, which is devoid of obstinate ego alone, is liberation. Take refuge in silence. You can be here or there or anywhere, fixed in silence, established in the inner self. You can be as you are. The world will never perturb you if you are well founded upon the tranquility within. Gather your thoughts within. Find out the thought center and discover your self-equipoise in storm and turmoil. Be calm and silent. There is abstract knowledge, from which arises the ego, which in turn gives rise to thought, and thought to spoken word. Thus, the word is the great-grandchild of the original source. If the word can produce effect, evaluate for yourself how much more powerful preaching through silence must be. But people do not understand this pure and simple truth, the truth of their daily, ever-present internal experience. This truth is that of the self. Is there anyone who is unaware of the self? Yet, they do not even like to hear this truth, while they are eager to know about what is beyond, about heaven, hell, and reincarnation. Because they love mystery and not truth, religions cater to them in order to finally bring them back to the self. Whatever means are adopted, you must finally return to the self. So, why not remain in the self here and now? To observe another world or to speculate about it, the self is necessary. Therefore, they are not different from the self. Even the ignorant man, when he sees objects, sees only the self. Silence is truth. Silence is bliss. Silence is peace. Therefore, silence is the self.